Darkness spreads across the stars as Vayer tightens his grip on the galaxy. But heroes rise, ready to ignite a rebellion that could change everything. The transport ship Aurora glided silently above the gray, cratered surface of Kilora. Dust storms swirled beneath, throwing shadows across abandoned mining structures. Captain Elias peered through the viewport, sensing a hidden presence in the barren world. The faint signals detected by the scanners pulsed with pain and fear. His crew felt the tension, knowing this mission could uncover horrors no human had faced before. The air inside the ship was thick with anticipation. The shuttle detached and descended through the corrosive winds, metal creaking under pressure. Rusted towers and pipelines twisted like skeletal fingers toward the sky. The crew braced against the shaking floor, scanning for traps or automated defenses. Each step brought them closer to the whispers of life buried underground. Dr. Yara adjusted her scanners repeatedly, her brow furrowed with concern. The signals became clearer, revealing the faint cries of children. Boots hit the ash-covered ground as the landing party ventured toward the entrance of the mineshafts. Shadows danced along the walls as their lamps flickered, forming illusions of movement. "Stay alert," Elias warned, his voice cutting through the echoing corridors. A soft sobbing echoed from deep within, growing louder with every step. The crew followed cautiously, each heartbeat syncing with the trembling signals. Fear and hope intertwined as they pressed forward. Inside a cavern, they discovered cages stacked in grim towers, filled with alien children of every shape and color. Some had blue skin, some scales, and some faintly glowing patterns along their bodies. The children's eyes widened in terror at the sight of humans. Elias knelt beside a trembling child, whispering words of comfort. Chains were cut, and the children clung to their rescuers, hesitant but desperate. Dr. Yara scanned the remaining cages, horrified at the scale of suffering. Suddenly, the ground quaked violently. Automated turrets spun to life, firing energy pulses into the darkness. The crew raised their weapons, moving with precision to protect the children. Sparks flew as lasers collided with metal walls, creating a shower of dangerous shards. Every sound was magnified in the cavern, a mix of battle cries and terrified screams. Elias's team formed a protective circle around the youngest and weakest. Outside, the shuttle hovered, ready for extraction. Yet the Dominion warships had detected the intrusion. Command crackled over comms, warning of incoming reinforcements. Elias's eyes hardened. "We move deeper," he commanded, "to destroy the hub at its core." The crew exchanged glances, understanding the risks. The children's fragile hope depended on their success. Every second counted. The central spire loomed ahead, a twisted tower of steel and fire. Its walls pulsed with energy, the heart of the Dominion's cruel slave network. Mechanized guardians and genetically enhanced beasts patrolled every corridor. A fierce firefight erupted as Elias and his team advanced. Every fallen enemy brought them closer to the children's freedom. Sparks, explosions, and shouts filled the air, mixing with the children's tentative cries. Dr. Yara led the children through hidden passageways, their small hands clutching hers tightly. Elias fought toward the control room, determined to end the operation at its source. Screens displayed stolen lives and star systems, a testament to decades of cruelty. He planted explosives, knowing the destruction would sever the Dominion's reach. The silver-eyed child touched his hand, whispering, "Will we be safe now?" Elias's gaze softened. The charges detonated, sending fire and debris through the spire. The shuttle swooped in amidst chaos, evacuating children from collapsing corridors. Explosions lit the sky as Dominion forces scrambled in confusion. Humanity's fleet entered orbit, ready to support the operation. The mission was a success, but Elias knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen the spark of resistance. As the last child boarded the shuttle, Elias looked back at the ruins. "Chains may always be forged," he murmured, "but heroes will rise to break them." Dr. Yara placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, eyes glistening. The children gazed at the stars for the first time, free and full of hope. Elias smiled faintly, knowing their journey had just begun. The fire of freedom would spread across the cosmos, igniting rebellion and courage in countless worlds. The freed children were resettled on New Ardent, a hidden refuge planet in the outer rim. Its glowing forests and crystal rivers were a stark contrast to the darkness they had endured. Captain Elias and his crew trained the older children, teaching them survival, strategy, and hope. Rumors of the Dominion's retaliation began to circulate across the stars. The galaxy was stirring, whispers of rebellion spreading through secret channels. Dr. Yara worked tirelessly to heal the children, both physically and mentally. Some had scars deeper than flesh, etched into their minds by cruelty and fear. Nightly, she told stories of heroes who rose against impossible odds. The children listened, their eyes reflecting determination for the first time. Each lesson built courage, preparing them to reclaim freedom for countless others. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer in encouragement. Meanwhile, the Dominion rebuilt, furious at the loss of Kilora. Commander Vyrek, ruthless and cunning, assembled a fleet larger than before. His warships prowled border systems, hunting for signs of rebellion. Intelligence reports hinted at the children's safe haven, and fear gnawed at the hearts of the oppressed across the galaxy. Elias knew they couldn't hide forever. Resistance meant confrontation. Every message carried the weight of inevitable war. Elias called a council of allied planets, bringing together diplomats, warriors, and outlaws united by a single goal: freedom. Holographic maps displayed Dominion territories, supply lines, and weak points. Strategies were debated, alliances tested. Every voice added weight, hope, or caution to the plan. In the midst of tension, Elias's resolve shone, binding them together. The first strike had to be precise, a spark that would ignite rebellion everywhere. Training intensified. Children with latent abilities learned to harness their powers under Yara's guidance. Scouts infiltrated Dominion outposts, gathering intel and sabotaging operations. Elias coordinated daring raids, small enough to avoid detection yet bold enough to inspire hope. Every victory, no matter how minor, sent ripples through oppressed systems. Across the galaxy, murmurs of defiance grew louder, a symphony of resistance forming. One night, a coded transmission reached Elias. "The Dominion plans a siege on Zephyra Station. Your timing is crucial." The council convened immediately. Zephyra, a vital communication hub, controlled the flow of intelligence between sectors. If the Dominion captured it, the rebellion would be crippled before it began. Elias studied the maps, calculating risks and advantages. This mission could define the rebellion's survival. The fleet moved silently through asteroid belts, avoiding Dominion patrols. Shuttles darted between shadows, carrying troops and weapons. As the battle began, lasers cut through darkness, echoes of gunfire reverberating across space. Zephyra's defenders, initially overwhelmed, rallied behind Elias's strategies. Explosions rocked the station, forcing Dominion forces into chaos. The rebellion was alive, and its fire burned brighter than ever. Amidst the chaos, the freed children, now trained scouts, sabotaged the Dominion's power cores. Each calculated strike weakened the enemy, turning despair into hope. Commander Vyrek watched from his flagship, fury blazing in his eyes. Elias and his crew executed daring maneuvers, narrowly escaping destruction multiple times. Every decision was a gamble, yet courage propelled them forward. Victory was within reach, but the cost was immense. By dawn, the station was secured. Dominion forces retreated, and the rebellion celebrated its first significant victory. Holograms broadcasted messages of hope to oppressed worlds, inspiring uprisings and secret resistance cells. Elias knew the fight was far from over, but the spark of freedom had spread. Allies pledged support, resources, and ships to the growing cause. For the first time, the galaxy saw a glimmer of unity against tyranny. As the fleet sailed into the void, Elias looked at the stars, thinking of the journey ahead. "This is just the beginning," he whispered to Yara, who nodded in quiet agreement. The children, now brave and determined, stood ready to reclaim their future. Across the galaxy, whispers became roars, hope replacing fear. The Dominion would not stop them, for the fire of rebellion burned unstoppable, illuminating the darkness of countless worlds. The rebellion had grown into a formidable force, uniting star systems under a single banner of freedom. Elias and Yara stood aboard the flagship Aurora, staring at the Dominion's capital planet, Vaer. Its dark towers loomed ominously, a symbol of tyranny and fear. Intelligence suggested Commander Vyrek had fortified the planet, expecting an assault. Yet Elias knew that courage, strategy, and unity could overcome any obstacle. The final battle to free the galaxy was about to begin. The children, now skilled fighters and scouts, prepared alongside seasoned rebels. Each one bore the scars of past battles, yet their resolve had hardened like tempered steel. They trained tirelessly, learning to synchronize with fleet maneuvers and infiltration squads. Yara reminded them that victory required not just strength, but cleverness, patience, and heart. In their eyes shone determination, for they were no longer victims, they were the architects of freedom. The fleet approached Vaer under the cover of a solar eclipse, masking their advance from orbital defenses. Sensors detected patrols, but the rebels moved like shadows among the planets. Holographic displays tracked enemy movements, projecting possible outcomes of each maneuver. Elias reminded his crew, one misstep could cost everything, but hesitation guarantees defeat. Silence fell over the bridge as every officer internalized the gravity of the coming strike. Suddenly, Dominion fighters emerged from hidden docking bays, launching volleys of plasma fire. The rebellion responded with calculated precision, weaving through explosions and debris. Shuttles carrying the infiltration team dove toward Vaer's surface, guided by scouts among the children. Every laser, every dodge, every tactical decision was a heartbeat in the rhythm of war. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath as the confrontation escalated into chaos. On the ground, Elias led the strike team through Vaer's shadowed corridors, disabling key communication arrays. Commander Vyrek, furious at their audacity, deployed elite guards to intercept them. Battles erupted in narrow passageways, sparks flying as energy blades clashed. The children, using agility and cunning, flanked the enemy, turning fear into tactical advantage. Each victory on the battlefield inspired hope that had long been buried under tyranny. Meanwhile, Yara and a group of engineers worked to breach Vyrek's power core, a massive energy nexus controlling the city's defenses. The Dominion unleashed every countermeasure, but the rebels' coordination was flawless. Drones, mines, and automated turrets fell one by one to clever maneuvers. The tension was unbearable, yet the rebels pressed forward, knowing the core's destruction would cripple Vyrek's reign. Every second counted. In a climactic confrontation atop Vaer's central tower, Elias faced Commander Vyrek. Words were unnecessary, the battle spoke through blinding lights, fire, and steel. Each strike tested skill, resolve, and morality. The planet's skies were illuminated by their clash, visible across orbiting fleets. Vyrek underestimated the strength of hope, the power of unity, and the courage of the children who had grown into warriors of freedom. Finally, with a decisive maneuver, Elias disarmed Vyrek, forcing surrender. The power core, sabotaged by Yara and her team, erupted in controlled detonation, shutting down Dominion defenses. Across Veyr, loyalists surrendered or fled, realizing the Empire's tyranny had ended. The rebellion's fleets secured orbital stations, establishing communication lines with liberated systems. The galaxy exhaled a collective sigh, as centuries of oppression finally faced defeat. Elias addressed the survivors from the central plaza of Veyr, the children standing proudly by his side. "Today, we reclaim not just land, but hope, freedom, and our future," he declared. Cheers echoed across the planet, spreading to neighboring worlds through restored communication channels. Allies pledged to rebuild, heal, and protect the galaxy from future tyranny. The rebellion, once a flicker of resistance, had become a blazing beacon of liberation. As the sun set over Veyr, Elias, Yara, and the children looked to the horizon, dreaming of a galaxy reborn. They knew challenges remained, but for the first time, fear no longer ruled their hearts. Stories of their courage would be told for generations, inspiring new heroes across countless worlds. The Dominion had fallen, but the spirit of rebellion, hope, and unity would endure forever. And in that enduring light, the galaxy finally knew peace.